Korey is the CEO of Legwork, patient communication. Wait, what's the motto? Like happiness delivered, or what is it?
Yeah, happiness delivered.
That's right, happiness delivered, right? So happiness on multiple fronts, whether it's a website, whether it's patient communication, whether it's marketing. Legwork has been just a huge supporter of our group. I mean, Korey is one of the first ones to step up with a Nifty deal. So I call him like one of the OGs here. And he was telling me that there's some exciting new features. I was like, okay, well, tell me what about it. And he was like, no, man, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell everyone. You're going to have to listen with everyone else. So Korey's here. He's going to talk about some of the new features. And then, we'll kind of remind, for those who don't know what Legwork can do for your practice, I'll have Korey just kind of remind everybody what they do. Because it's so funny. Sometimes people will say, well, I need to look for another company because Legwork doesn't do this. And Korey's like, yeah, we do. And that's the funny thing is that so many people, they don't really use all the features that Legwork has. It's kind of like, you have these features, it's included, and you're just letting it sit there and you're wasting it, right? So in the spirit of learning all the new features, Korey, I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend, and you talk about the new features and let you share the screen and all that good stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Well, to your point, as I'm sharing the screen here, to your point, I just was talking to a client today and explaining that in SaaS or software as a service, we call it the 10% rule. And it's basically the premise that unfortunately any market using a software, it's very common that we only use about 10% of its capabilities unless you're, really shown how to do it. And admittedly, one of the things we're trying to get better at Legwork is explaining and showing people all the power of what Legwork has to offer. And so I won't go into that right now, but we have created a support portal. We've created video tutorials, and we're always trying to get the word out about how to maximize Legwork. So I appreciate the opportunity, Glenn, once again, to get a chance to talk to the Nifty Thrifty group, explain some of the things we're doing. This new flagship feature that we have, we are so excited about. And so I'm going to dive right in because there's a lot to talk about, and I'll try to keep it brief and to the point. The new feature is called the Pxi, which stands for Patient Experience Insights. Now, we branded it with a specific name because it has really 3 key features that are embedded within the feature itself. In other words, it's not just a single product or a single feature. It's 3 features kind of bundled into one to work together. And again, I know I'm a little biased, but I think this is something new and unique to the marketplace. We've tried to take a new approach to 3 components: reviews, referrals, and what is called NPS, or Net Promoter Score. Now,
so what does Net Promoter Score mean? Or are you going to get that?
Definitely, that's going to be the first description we talk about. What the heck is Net Promoter Score?
Yeah.
So if you're familiar, well, even if you're not familiar, you've probably gone through a Net Promoter Score, a Net Promoter Survey. And if you've gone to, a Fortune 100 or, Fortune 500 or so company, gone through a process of purchasing, whether it be, I recently got a survey from Apple. I've seen surveys at some of the higher end hotels that I've been, have visited. And what they do is they send you a questionnaire, but that questionnaire is really based on one primary objective, which is the single question: how likely would you be to refer a friend or family member, to the particular business? That is the basic premise for NPS, or Net Promoter Score. In other words, the higher, the better your score, the better your NPS. Therefore, the more likely that the patient, in this particular example of dentistry, the more likely that the patient will refer a friend or family member. So the NPS scoring system is based on essentially a survey, but the ultimate question that the NPS is trying to ask is, will that patient refer a friend or family member, yes or no? Or based on it's not a yes or no, it's rated on a 1 to 10 scoring system. So that's the NPS. Now, the NPS scoring system is just a metric or a key performance indicator to patient satisfaction. But ultimately, the reason we built NPS with reviews and referrals was because of the fact that, in our opinion, reviews have kind of become somewhat of a popularity contest for dentistry. No disrespect to the dentists that feed my family, but you guys are kind of obsessed about the amount of reviews you get rather than the true value of the referral and what it tells you in terms of patient experience. In other words, I hear all the time, I want Legwork to help me get more reviews because, you know, I want to beat out the competition with reviews. Well, that's a good goal and there's nothing wrong with that. But why did we originally start asking for reviews in the first place? What was the purpose of a review? The purpose of a review ultimately was to measure patient satisfaction and determine who was more likely to refer a friend or family member.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the ultimate goal of a practice is to grow, because if you're not growing, you're shrinking. And so reviews ultimately are for practice growth. And the only way we can improve review quality or actually measure reviews and their effect on our practice is through NPS. In other words, what does the review mean? It doesn't matter that we get 100 or 500 reviews if we don't know why patients are actually happy with us beyond just a 5-star review. The second reason we built this was because, unfortunately, as Google has changed the game in terms of their algorithmic process, they have removed the ability to do what's called a vetting process. So we can't ask the patient, how was your experience, and then turn around and ask them for a review. So it's eliminated any kind of understanding or metric about how that review process works. And so unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, every review system is essentially has the same technological capabilities if they're built decently. And I'm not here to point anyone out. They're all built well, I'm sure. All the ones on Nifty Thrifty are. They're all using the same technology to get the patient to the review link source. In other words, to get you out to Google in a simple and effective way. We're all doing that the same way technologically, generally speaking. So if the playing field is level, in other words, all of us are asking for the review the same way, then Legwork had to ask ourselves, well, then how can we do it in a more innovative way? Because again, that Legwork's goal is, if you look at our mantra, it's more innovation at the lowest possible cost without compromising service. That's our mantra. That's our goal for our customer base. And so we had to look at reviews and say, well, what's missing then? If everybody's doing it the same way, what's missing? And we feel what's missing is getting back to the true patient sentiment. What matters to a patient and why do they give us a high score or a low score? And if they give us a high score, how can we leverage that for a positive review and gain referrals from it? If they give us a low score, what can we do about our patient experience so that we improve upon our process to be better at what we do in terms of marketing and patient experience? That's what NPS was built for, was to bring referrals, reviews together on the basis of a net promoter score. So now that I've explained it,
explain what I see right here. I just see patient satisfaction, some check marks, some comfort selection, and then I kind of think know what you're doing here, but just explain it to us for those who are tuning in right now and watching.
Definitely. So first and foremost, we're trying to make our dashboard, which is what you see on the screen. And by the way, this is what we call an Envision app. So this isn't a live database because, of course, that would be non-HIPAA compliant. So this is all fake data. But what we're looking at is a mock-up of what is our dashboard. The dashboard, when you open up Legwork, you see the task list. On the task list, you see information about patients who are coming in for this particular day. And it ascends down in or descends down into date, time, order. And right here, to focus on today's topic, is where patient satisfaction will show up. So Eric Young, in this analogy, in his previous appointment, had posted the NPS survey information and gave the score of the practice score of an 8. On the other hand, Catherine here scored a 6 and Grace scored a 3 as an example of NPS. So Eric is a promoter, is what we define in NPS as a promoter. Catherine is neutral, meaning she wasn't necessarily overly optimistic or pessimistic about the appointment. And Grace was disappointed. And so when you see your task list, you can immediately see who gave what score. Now, that's not very impressive in and of itself. But if we dive into the Pxi dashboard, you now get to see deeper metrics on the whole picture. So this is where your overall score shows up. It shows in this particular analysis or example that 68% of patients surveyed are promoters. That's excellent. If you've read The Tipping Point, the book The Tipping Point, you know that there are certain types of people out in the world that have different traits, different behavioral traits. Glenn, you are definitely a promoter, obviously. I would like to think of myself as a promoter. These are people that bring people together and help one another. They get satisfaction out of bringing people together. That's a promoter. A neutral is someone who obviously didn't necessarily have overwhelming positive or negative experience. And then a detractor, of course, is obvious. So as we drill down into the data, we can see the questionnaires of the NPS. Now, the NPS custom questions can be customized. Okay, so if we can ask whatever we want, but ultimately the gold star standard, taking from the playbook of the Fortune 500 companies, the gold star standard is, how likely are you to refer us to a friend or family member? Okay. Now, the cool part about this is we can take this data and then apply reviews to it. So if a patient scores high on the NPS, they can then be sent the review question or the review request and the referral request. If a patient scores in a detractor way, we of course don't deliver a review. And this is how we've been able to assess and look at the Google guidelines as
I was going to ask you that, because that type of technique backfired on a certain company or a few companies. I'm not going to mention their names,
right.
but it's kind of like that gating system or whatnot. So how does this method how's that different from the other method where people got in trouble and had all the reviews like deleted and stuff?
Because what happened there is they were taking the survey or taking the request. It was a review request. Okay. Mm-hmm. And based on the review request, they were gating them, meaning it was asking for a review based on the response. This NPS survey is completely independent of the review request. So so
it's just like a separate survey you send out first.
Yes, and then you send out the request for the review. They are separate, and that's completely compliant with the Google guidelines. We have monitored, checked, and made sure that this system was compliant, so that we can get the value of patient sentiment, which is the NPS, and then deliver reviews and ask for reviews and ask for referrals without being against the guidelines of review gating. And so this it brings back that highly valuable process of protecting online reputation and while still being within the Google guidelines, which is, and the difference is separating of the requests and keeping them independent asks. As long as you're not sending them together, it's not a gated process. So you're just simply choosing who to send the review to.
So Korey, we have some questions from the audience, and I'm going to go ahead and read them out right now.
Sure.
Dr. Lewis, she asked if a patient doesn't pass to post a positive review, does the patient know his or her review will not be posted? So I guess what she's asking is from the survey, if they write something bad and then it doesn't get posted, does the patient know that, or is it just like you did the survey and thank you very much and that's it?
The survey is completely independent of the reviews. That's what you have to understand first. NPS is not reviews. Reviews is not NPS. They're working together to generate ultimately more quality reviews and more quality referrals based on the NPS score. The NPS is a survey that is 100% internal. The patient is asked the questions that we have. Of course, we have a set of default questions, but the the practice can customize those questions.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. What if I have a certain question that I want to ask them? So you can customize this, right?
Absolutely. And you can customize the type of questions, the volume of questions, et cetera. And that information is purely internally provided. So if we look at patient survey details, like Eric Young here, I can drill in and look at Eric's specific scoring and his comments. This has nothing to do with reviews. Again, this is absolutely separate of reviews.
I think this is really helpful, Korey, because a lot of times, we get so focused on reviews, right? We got a 5-star review. Yay, that's great, right? But these surveys are a lot more powerful because you can ask specific things. Maybe you're giving people hot towels at the end of their appointment, and you think it's the best thing ever. And then you find out in the survey that patients don't really care about it.
Right.
Like these are things that you can get data from your patient, because sometimes you either you forget to ask the patient straight up, or maybe they just don't want to say anything, but they'll say it on the survey. So this is really powerful just from a data gathering standpoint, because a lot of times, if you think about all the big businesses, right? I just came back from the Hyatt. We went to a resort on the Hyatt, and they sent me this survey, and they asked all sorts of stuff down to like, did I like the brunch at this one of their restaurants and all these things, and yeah, I answered it. So this is really powerful, I think, in my opinion, because asking for reviews is one thing, but getting the info is another thing too.
Exactly. So I want to be crystal clear that the reviews component is separate from the NPS. The reviews component is also rebuilt. So now you can look at your data from a reviews perspective. You can respond to the reviews inside of Legwork now. You can also look at who was delivered a review link and whether they opened that link or not, because a lot of times clients want to know, well, I'm not getting reviews. Why not? Well, the system can only do the automation. It can't make the patient write the review, right? So we want to make sure we give data points to the customer, to our customer, to say, look, we got the customer to open the Facebook or Google review link. Beyond that, it's up to the patient, right? So the point I'm trying to make is the reviews component is completely overhauled, and the NPS component is brand new. And when you put them together, there's nothing like it on in dentistry that I'm aware of, where you can leverage the patient sentiment data and build upon referrals and reviews at the same time, and it's all automated, as Legwork should be. And so we're pretty excited about how this feature is going to improve the process of referrals and reviews, because again, it's based on, ultimately at the end of the day, reviews are generated to grow the practice, not to have a popularity contest out on Google. Because I think, again, the other thing that's oftentimes misunderstood is if you have more reviews, that somehow you're going to rank higher in search. And that is absolutely not the case. Google's very, very specific about that. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have a goal of more reviews. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't have more reviews, but let's look at quality of reviews, quality of patient sentiment, and let's build referrals. That's ultimately what any dental practice wants, is more referrals. And reviews were originally designed to help build your referral base. And 500 reviews is great, but 100 quality reviews because you've dialed in patient experience is going to generate more referrals. So,
and 100 good reviews with 100 referrals.
Yes. I mean,
okay, so
that's the magic.
Korey, you ready for some hard questions from the audience?
Absolutely.
So let's do this. This strikes at, I mean, Dr. Lewis is just jumping right ahead of me. I mean, I was going to ask this, but she's all over this. So she's watching right now. So I want to go ahead and pose this question. So this service that you just talked about here, awesome. I can see where it can totally help out a practice, really from just getting data and whatnot about your patients, but also making sure you get those good reviews. It's a great service. So she's asking, is this service added into our current legwork plan, or is this something else I got to add on to my current plan?
I don't know, doctor, what your package is, but anyone who's on our primary, let me just go to our website real quick so I can speak clearly to what I'm saying. The advanced package level, regardless of, that's not the Nifty Thrifty price, by the way. That's
no, it's not. And we'll talk about the Nifty Thrifty price for those who are not working with legwork just yet. But for Dr. Lewis, who's going to get her question answered here.
Everyone who's at that package level will get the NPS and review system grandfathered in. So there's no additional charge. Now, if Dr. Lewis is a standard package, you know, she's going to have to upgrade. But anybody who's at that advanced feature level, it's grandfathered in. So
and if you go to the website, you can see all the cool features at each level. I mean, the great thing about legwork is that they have a package for every practice. Not every practice is the same, but if you look at all the features that's included, I mean, it really takes the place of a lot of other services, and you really can just get it from one place. So, and then, hey, Korey, in the spirit of hard questions, are you ready for another hard question?
Absolutely.
They're all coming in. Okay. So this doctor's asking, well, there's so many services out there, and with so many from different vendors, and there's so many overlapping features, from texting, paperless registration, reviews, patient communication, all these things. So what is legwork going to bring to the table? Okay, so we already know about this review and also about this referral, just this whole system here. There's no one else that does this. So we all know about that. Okay. But what else is in the pipeline, Korey?
Well, two things that first, let me explain to the best of my ability what sets legwork apart. Because I think that's really the question that the dentist is asking. You know, there are a lot of systems, and ironically, it's not much different. We fight the same thing that you guys fight, in the sense that we're seen, if not careful, we're seen as a parity service, just like your patients see you and think that you're all the same. We in the SaaS, software as a service business, we fight that same battle. It's like, well, how am I different than my friendly competitors out there? And so I get this dentist question. It's a difficult one. Legwork's stance is very clear: to provide, in the next 12 months, to provide the most complete service, software as a service platform that we can at the lowest possible cost without compromising service, in one single bundle that will cover the entire patient journey. So in other words, from generating the lead, which is where Google AdWords, Facebook ads is where we start, generating leads to the website level, which is our website package. Then as the lead enters into the website, we have created a series of what we call marketing funnels. So here is a funnel. So a page on Invisalign, an assessment, click through the assessment, fill out the form. This drops right into the Legwork dashboard, and right underneath the groups tab it will drop into the appropriate category and start automated sequencing. So in other words, follow-up sequencing. It'll send your team a notification that a lead has been generated and you need to reach out to them. And it will send a series of communications to nurture that lead and say, you should continue to consider Invisalign. That's a ClickFunnels. Legwork has ClickFunnels associated with their websites. Yes, we have appointment reminders. Those are a commodity. Everybody's got them. So the feature of once the lead becomes a patient, we remind them just like everyone else. Then we take them post-appointment through the NPS and the reviews process and referral automation. And then we start retention and follow-up to keep them retained in the practice. That entire journey is all covered in Legwork for our $449 package. It's all in there. And the two features that I'm going to stick my neck out on a little bit here, because they're not done yet, but they are going to be done this year, are paperless form integration and a Mango integration to help with the voice over IP services.
All right, guys, you heard it right there. It's live now. There's no take backs. And we have a few docs that just chimed in that says, hey, they are interested. Well, guys, you're going to be even more interested when I remind you what the Nifty Thrifty deal is. Okay, we're going to do that here. But Korey, so let me just kind of basically paraphrase what you just said there. When people say, okay, well, which reminder service is the best, right? Well, the thing is Legwork is not just a reminder service. It's kind of like if you go to a dentist and he says, yeah, hey, I want to go get my teeth cleaned. This is all I do here. No, that's not true. We can do all these other great things, right? But with Legwork, it's not just a reminder service, guys. And really, Korey will be the first one to admit this. Obviously, he loves working with Nifty Thrifty. He loves all the clients that he got there. They try to work with everybody, but sometimes Legwork is not the right solution, right? No. If you're looking for like just reminder services, that's it, like nothing else. Okay, well, maybe there's other options out there, right? But if you want a comprehensive service where you have a website that is created by them, so when the patient lands on your website, then they go through this sequence, right? Okay, you get the lead. Then you get the lead, and it goes through this whole nurturing sequence. Okay, you do good. The only thing Legwork can't do is take care of your patients, right? So hopefully you did a good job there. And then they set them through this survey, this review system here. And then they do that. And then as they stay in your practice, that's where the reminders come in, because you want to make sure they're taken care of. You know, then you'll get like email blasts and whatnot. They are taken care of through the whole journey. That is what Legwork's about, right, Korey? Did I kind of say that right? Or did I miss anything?
No, absolutely.
I mean, that's what it is. So that's like so many times people will ask me, they're like, well, what's the cheapest reminder service? And here's the thing, guys, in Nifty Thrifty, I'm all about having different options. And I've talked to Korey about that, and he loves that too. He's friends with all these other competitors. But the thing is if you look at it, if you really look at their products, they're all different. And it really just matters about what is important to you, right? What is important to you? But he's created this, I mean, this is a really nifty, when you say Nifty Thrifty deal, okay, it is Nifty Thrifty deal because we're just talking about this. If you look at our older videos, we talk about the websites. They create the websites. I haven't even talked about that. I will remind you guys. But now he just said it. Finally, right? Our friends at Mango, we love Mango Voice, and now they're coming together, right? Mango and Legwork coming together to give you guys more of a comprehensive service. And then you just said, I'm going to hold you to it, Korey. You just said it. What was the other thing that's going to come out soon?
So the reason I can say this with confidence is because I'm blessed enough to say that Legwork has received some funding from an investment firm, and the funding is predicated on some very key metrics that we have to perform on. Digital integrated forms. We have digital forms now, but they do not integrate with the software. Everybody wants that. We get it. It's the primary feature. That and the pop-up integration with Mango. Those are the two features that everyone is clamoring for. I believe, and again, as the co-CEO, I'm a co-CEO, by the way. I have a partner, Jeff Weber, who's my partner, so I don't want to undermine him. He's my co-CEO and partner. The two of us know that if we can bring to you digital forms that integrate into Open Dental, EagleSoft, and Dentrix, and we can provide the Mango integration by the end of the year, that's our promise and that's our guarantee. That's coming, and everyone who is at that advanced level service, it will be there for them. They don't have to pay anything extra. It's all, we're not adding costs.
I was just going to ask you that, Korey.
No.
I was just going to ask you that. So guys, I mean, these new features, this new feature that you just saw here that Korey just demoed, and man, when those other new features launch, I mean, we're going to bring him back on so he can demo it, right? Because here's the thing, guys. When Korey and I were talking off air, and I was like, "Look, Korey, do you think you can talk this out?" I was like, "No, I just want to show them." So here's the thing, guys. We don't want to just talk about it. He's showing us right now. So if you're in that tier, that advanced tier, you're going to get all these things added on. And really, is that can I just kind of put you on the spot here? You know, not Mango, but the Legwork, you guys are always trying to innovate, try to get better all the time. Is it safe to say that if they're in that category, that all the features that you do in the future will be included?
All the features in the next year that we know are critical are always going to be included in that premium package model. Yeah,
I love it.
Our goal, again, I call this the $300 marketing trap. And this is to the doctor's point that says there's so many different features out there, right? The reality is that doctor is absolutely correct. What our goal is to do to deliver by the end of the year is that you really truly have one system that does not have to require all of those individual $300 disparate systems out there that aren't working together. If you add up a website cost, you add up forms cost, you add up your VoIP system cost, you add up your patient communications software cost, your reviews cost. If you have those 5 systems at $300 a piece, that's 5 times 3 is $1,500 a month on average that most people are spending. If I can dial all 5 of those together for $449, why would you need anything else? And I'm not trying to undermine my competitors, but yet I'm here to sell you on why Legwork is going to be the all-in-one solution at the lowest cost with the most innovation without compromising service. That's been our goal from day one, and we're going to fulfill it this year. That's my promise to the Nifty Thrifty crew.
I love it. I love it. And guys, Korey knows videos just pretty much last forever in my group. And people,
I can't take it back now, Glenn.
You can't take it back. There's no take backs. Okay, Korey, let's just jump into this. And people are already like kind of posting about this. So we have someone who just wants to know, what's the Nifty Thrifty deal right now? What's the Nifty Thrifty deal right now? So look, I'll tell you this right now. If you're in a certain tier, you're going to get all these things that he just talked about, including this, what you saw in this demo right here. They have a really awesome team. They have all these cool training videos. I mean, literally my team couldn't send their email blasts out, right? They were telling me, Legwork doesn't do email blasts anymore. I'm like, I just talked to the CEO. He says that's never been gone.
Can I address that real quick since I have all this audience's attention?
Yes.
Absolutely do email blasts. The only difference is we've decided, because of some potential risks, because we've gotten to the point where when we blast the email for you, and oftentimes what happens is the patient coordinator or manager will ask us to build this email for them and blast it out. And then the dentist didn't know that was to go out and they weren't happy with it. So all we've changed is we've said, we'll build the email, put it in your system, and you hit blast so that you're fully taking the responsibility for delivering that email, because it's a risk to our reputation with you, our customer. That's the only thing we stopped, was we're not pushing the button. We're just asking you to push the button. That's the only.
So I went to my team. I said, all you gotta do is push the button. I'm like, well, we're not sure. And actually, they just went on with a representative with Legwork, and they're like, it's so easy. I was like, yes. Yes, but I just want to just give that example because I am a Legwork user, guys. I actually use the software. I've been with them for a long time, so I'm super excited about all these new things. And my team, literally, they went from "How do you do this?" to "Oh gosh, it's so easy, Dr. Vo," and I just let them deal with it. And their team is so good about trading that. So, all right, they're asking, stop teasing us. Tell me what the Nifty Thrifty deal is. So we're gonna go through all these features. We're gonna talk about the Nifty Thrifty deal, and then you'll know. So Korey, let's go through all the tiers here.
Okay, so our standard package, we do not have a discounted rate on because it is just so freaking cheap. And people don't often realize that there are costs that we pay for your text messaging, for our integrations with this content manager, or the Dentrixes and EagleSofts of the world. We have to pay them. And so the 149 does not have a deal associated with it. Every other package has a $50 price break, but today, because I'm with you, Glenn, I am going to stick my neck out for this presentation and say that I will do an immediate flash sale for the advanced or the advanced plus web, which means that all these features, the PXI, the Mango integration that's coming in a few weeks, and the health history form integration that will be here by the end of the year, guaranteed, or I'm going to look like an idiot because I just put it out there on this video. You will get all of those integrations at either of these two packages. The $349 is normally $300 with Glenn's with the Nifty Thrifty package. I will do it at $279.
Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna have to, let me write this down here.
And I'll tell everybody how to get this price in a minute. And then at the advanced level, we will do that advanced level at $379. So I'm basically taking another $15 off per month, and they will get all the features coming up this year if they sign up from this webinar.
Now I want you to go to the next tier, because I think this is the one that is really exciting, because this is where Legwork goes beyond, hey, they're just a reminder service, right? Yeah. No, they're not a reminder service. So if you can click on that advanced plus website, and this is the thing too, because I've had some doctors, they message me and they're like, Legwork does websites too. So they do websites and then I have to go and do the reminders. I'm like, no. What I'm trying to tell you is that it kind of works together. Like, what do you mean it works together? I was like, it works together because the patient lands it. So anyways, now that we have Korey here, I'm going to direct people to this video and say, watch the whole video or go to this certain minute and he's going to explain. So explain the website, the advanced plus website, Korey.
Okay. We put, again, my background is on brand strategy. I've worked in dentistry as a marketer, not obviously as a dentist, for 20 years. I focused my entire career on understanding patient behavior. How does a patient choose their next dentist? With that knowledge, armed with that knowledge, and the team that we have here at Legwork, we built a website product that has everything you need to nurture patients that come to the website through that ClickFunnels type process, that survey or assessment type process. We have 15 different integrations, from Invisalign to implants, sleep apnea, cosmetics, you name it. We have ClickFunnels for every single one of those categories. The websites stand alone from any other product. Why? Not necessarily because they're highly customized out of the gate, because we admit that you might want additional customization, but you can customize on top of our site platform. And everyone asks, well, I don't want a cookie cutter website. This is not a cookie cutter website. This is a marketing machine with 20 years of my experience put into it in order to generate patient lead flow with our ClickFunnels. So the website integrates with the software because they are one. And that's what makes Legwork unique, is we're not a website company and we're not an appointment reminders company. We're a patient engagement company, which means as patients hit the website, it's not just a glorified brochure, and it can be customized. You can bring us your photos, you can bring us your beautiful videos, you can customize it all you want, but the tools and mechanics are already built for you to generate leads from the web. Once those web leads are generated, they're automatically nurtured with the Legwork automation process, and they're delivered right to your team and the dashboard. So you know that you have a lead, you know that you need to follow up with them, and we're also communicating to that lead to say, hey, you asked about Invisalign. Here are the benefits of Invisalign. And I worked with a psychologist to determine what are the major components to helping overcome the major primary objections that happen from a dental patient, which are fear, money, trust, and convenience. They have nothing to do with the technology. They have everything to do with, can I trust Dr. Glenn Vo to provide the services, and how do I value those services, and is it convenient for me, and how do I get started? And that's what we've created here for 15 different categories.
You know, I think what's really powerful is that we also have to remember what the point of a website is, right? I mean, so many times we just fall into the, like, we think like a dentist, we look at the website and we're like, okay, our website looks really nice and they're just going to get blown away. And then we forget that patients are going to your website to figure out, okay, number one, do I even like this person? And number two, how can I get into their practice, or can they offer the services? And really what Korey's just showing here with this particular website, someone's coming here, they want Invisalign, they click on Invisalign, they go through this whole little thing, they're answering all these questions, and all these things get sent to you so that you can reach out to the patient, right? That's the whole point of a website, is to get patients in, not to just show off your, you know, just like like, what'd you call it? A glorified billboard, right?
A glorified brochure, yes.
Brochure, yeah, brochure. So, okay, so someone fills out that form and it goes into this back end of Legwork here. And if you can just explain this real quick so that they can kind of see the whole process.
Yeah, now obviously a patient won't always fill out the assessment. They might just call you, and that's great. The ultimate goal of a website is to get a new appointment. That's the ultimate goal of a website. And so if they call, that's great. But if they fill out the assessment, that means they're from a psychological standpoint, they're at the top of the funnel. The sales funnel is kind of an analogy we use here, or marketing funnel. It means they're not quite ready to schedule, but they've got enough interest that they want to look further. That's what the assessment is designed to do, is to say, I want to take the next step, but I'm not ready to call you yet, or I'm not ready to book an appointment yet. If that happens, we track that process, because that lead needs nurturing. They need to be talked to convince that Invisalign is in fact right for them, or implants are, etc. So they drop that data. When we exchange data, meaning a name and a contact information, in exchange for the results of the assessment. The assessment is really just, you know, helping the patient psychologically move through the decision-making factor. And by the way, guys, this isn't rocket science. Invisalign does this exact thing for their network. If you go to the Invisalign website, they have an assessment. The assessment is designed to get them into the workflow. This is not something, this is what Fortune 500 companies do all day long. And then they start the nurturing process. What Legwork then does is take that lead and drop them into a group that is associated with that funnel. What does that do? It helps you understand what your lead flow looks like, and it helps your team understand exactly who they need to contact in order to help that process. Because what we want to do is create a human interaction. Automation is only going to go so far. Mm-hmm. So we bring that human interaction together to say, you know, so we notify your team, hey, you guys have a lead that has just filled out your implant assessment. Here's their information. You need to get on it and give them a call. That's what happens here. And then while that process is occurring, we're still what's called drip marketing, or nurturing that lead to say, again, overcome the standard objections: fear, trust, money, convenience. And as I mentioned, we worked with a psychologist to help determine, because we know that unfortunately dentistry is a complicated subject. I don't know how to value an implant. I don't know as a patient how to value an implant. I know that I want to chew my food better. I want to speak more clearly. I don't want to be in pain, or whatever the reasoning is. But it has nothing to do with whether or not I understand the technology of how you place the implant. In fact, that could even scare me away, according to the research we've done. So we have to focus in on what does the patient really want out of this objective, and they want to overcome those primary objectives. And that's what the nurturing funnels are designed to do. So we've already written this content, we've already built it. You know, my objective for my clients is to say, guys, go back to providing great patient experience and let this system that we've painstakingly built work for you, and move forward from there. So that's what the funnels are designed to do. And that's how the advanced website package integrates with our software. Then once they become a patient, then the next phase comes in, which is reminders process, reviews process, the new Pxi system, which includes the Net Promoter Score, and the referral system, which again, you can track all your referrals inside of the Legwork dashboard right here, and then automatically thank them for those referrals. And depending on your area and your laws, you can even send a gift card right from the system and fulfill it right out of Legwork. So it's all in one simple, easy to use, not complicated marketing engine, from the outer edge of lead generation to the retention component and that entire journey in between. That's Legwork's primary sweet spot, and doing it at a price that I would argue is hard to beat, even without the Nifty Thrifty deal, but it's even better.
Yeah, and Korey just talked about this flash sale, which I'm going to definitely post that in the comments here. But you know, I also want to hit on something. So for those who just listen to what we just talked about with the Advanced Plus website, right? I mean, when we say Advanced Plus website, yes, all those things, that whole sequence, that's part of it. But what is really, I mean, what people don't realize is actually Legwork provides the website, right?
Yeah,
like literally, you can walk in here and just say, okay, I want the Advanced Plus website. And Legwork is going to redo your website. You get a website, okay? They have to redo your website because it has to flow, okay? So that's probably what's on a lot of people's mind. Okay, let's say they have a website. I don't like my website, and I want to just take advantage of this deal, and I want the website and the advanced. So for someone who wants to jump into that Advanced Plus website feature, like, how does that work? Because there's a bunch of questions that come up. They're like, okay, what's going to happen to my SEO? Is all my data going to be gone? What's all these things? So let's just go over that real quick, because I get that question all the time.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, because the number one question we get is, there are three primary questions we get. Number one, do I own my website? If you know, do I own my website? The answer is absolutely, you own your website. It's your website. We don't care if you leave our services, but you have to understand, we build our websites on a content management system, a CMS platform, which is the standard today. And that CMS platform is built with security and hosting and all the stuff that goes along with a website in mind. So if you leave us, you get to keep your website. There's this big misnomer that if you build on a content management system, you don't get to keep your website. That is absolutely not true with Legwork. Maybe with someone else, but not with us. The only difference is you have to pay your hosting fee, because the CMS is software. It is a platform. So you can't take that website and put it onto another hosting platform. You have to pay your hosting, but you get to keep everything. You don't get to keep the integration with Legwork software because you're leaving us, but you get to keep your website. So you pay $39.95 for your hosting. That's the only barrier, is if you leave us, you have to pay your hosting because it's a software. And it's $39.95. And there's no contract with Legwork, so you can leave anytime. So question one, do you get your website? Is it yours? Absolutely. Question two, you know, I hear this all the time. I love my website, but I want all these great features. Excellent. Don't leave your website. We have a landing page service that uses what's called CNAMEs, so that we can build the landing page component onto your existing website and still leverage the power of the Legwork web integration.
So you just answered someone's question that came up. They're like, I want that funnel. I want that questionnaire. I want that.
You don't need to leave your website to benefit from Legwork. Yeah. Now, obviously, you might ask, well, is there a better price? No, because it's the same build out that we have to do, whether you bring in your homepage and your bio.
The website is going to be there. No one's going to force you to take the website, but it's going to be there.
Right. So you can have your existing website and build our landing page product into it using CNAME. What a CNAME is, in simple terms, is it doesn't sabotage your SEO from your existing website. So if you got an SEO provider that you're happy with, you got a website you're happy with, but you're like, man, I want this product. Do not stop using your SEO company and do not stop using your website company. If there's a reason that you're happy with them, keep them. Just plug in the landing pages and it will not sabotage your SEO, will not affect that at all, because we've thought that through, because we also understand the importance of SEO. And so we don't want to alter that. The last question I get is SEO itself, which is, Glenn, you mentioned that. It's like, well, if I move my website, if I'm not happy with it and I want to go ahead and move it to Legwork, what about my SEO? Well, look, this is where you're going to get me on my soapbox a little bit, but I'm going to try to keep it brief. SEO with geo-local searches. This means anything related to the near me search is really hard to dominate. You cannot dominate above the fold. Meaning if you type in dentist near me or anything like that, you're going to see at the top of the section, you're going to see ads. The next section is going to be the Google My Business Maps, which is where your reviews show up. And Google's very clear that you cannot control your listing ranking there. And then below that, you're going to see the most trafficked websites, typically Yelp, something, unfortunately, or Facebook or things like that. And then you're going to start to see the organic listings. If you look at the traffic history, those top searches that are coming at the top make up a large percentage of the clicks, even the ads, which is why we have a supplemental search marketing package for those clients that want to guarantee that local search SEO benefit. You got to pay to play nowadays with Google when it comes to geo-local searches. So if you're worried about that, you need to get over it, because Google's made it very clear you can't get in the top fold anyway. So anything below the fold, and I know I'm going to get some pushback from SEO gurus out there, but that's my stance and I'm sticking to it. The other component would be a more a sub search like tooth pain, or how much are implants, or some of that sub backdoor searches. That's another topic for another day, because I do believe there is benefit to targeting that for off-page SEO. Okay, but I don't want to get in a big long diatribe about SEO. Let's just stay focused on the fact that, does my SEO change for local search? The answer is, anytime you change your website from one place to another, there's going to be some shift in your presence. But search engine optimization, if you believe in what I just said, and go ahead and Google dentist near me and see what comes up, and you'll see that I'm right. And getting to that top of that search, if you really think that you're already there, I would caution you to ask to really look at the Google guidelines, because you're not there, because it's based on individual search criteria and the fact that Google Maps and ads are now at the top of the search, and Google knows that. That's why they're a multi-billion-dollar company. So is your SEO gonna be shifted slightly? Yeah, anytime you make a website change, you're gonna have a shift, but it usually will level out and go back to where it was, because we're not doing anything to alter your backlinks, because we know how to build the site in such a way that the links that you have out on the internet will all come to the new site. And so, yeah, there's going to be an adjustment period, but your SEO will not drop drastically or rise drastically, because we can't even measure that anymore in terms of ranking.
I love it. Well, I hope that answers a lot of questions there. And
a long answer, but it's a difficult concept.
Yeah, well, and if you think about it, right? If you look at what Legwork is offering, you look at all the tiers. The pricing without the Nifty Thrifty deal. Let's just say there's no Nifty Thrifty deal. You're just looking at the pricing with all the things you get. It's actually a good deal. But it's even sweeter because there's that $50 discount that's the Nifty Thrifty deal. That's been the deal. People always ask about it. I was like, dude, it's the same deal. They're not taking it away. It's there. $50 off of each of these tiers. But Korey just said something, and I hope you guys weren't snoozing there. But I'm going to make them, since we're winding down here, I'm going to make them mention it last. So I know some of you guys like to fast forward to find out what the Nifty deal is. I'm going to give you what you want here. So there's a special short-term flash sale. Korey's on here. He always gets really generous when he gets on the Facebook Live. That's why I love bringing him on, because I know we can get a great deal. So Korey, what is the super flash sale? We already know what the Nifty Thrifty deal is, guys. It's all the packages except the standard one, right? The standard one is there just to help docs out who are just jumping on. But I will tell you right now that all these packages are a great deal, even for startups, okay? Especially for startups. If you want a website, if you don't have a website, if you have nothing, okay, then the advance is the best deal, because it's automatically going to start working from day one, right? It's up. You'll start getting all these things. Okay, so the Nifty deal is $50 off of the packages. The standard one is not included, okay? And then if you have the advance and advance plus website, if you're on that package, all these new features are coming on, it's included. No extra cost, okay? If you're in the advance and advance plus website, okay? Did it himself. If you're at the lower tiers, right, and you see all these things and you're like super pumped about it, and you're super pumped about what he just talked about, all these new features coming on, you want to go to the advanced and you want to go to the advanced website, you'll get the flash sale. You'll get the flash sale.
Yes.
Straight from the CEO's mouth himself.
Any upgrades, flash sale applies. Absolutely.
Love it.
I will publicly come on to Nifty Thrifty Live at the end of the year, and I will literally eat my hat if those features are not publicized by the end of the year. I will eat my hat, because I am putting.
I actually have a few friends who have like really well-worn cowboy hats. I could mail it to you.
I will eat it, Glenn. If it doesn't happen, I will eat it.
So Korey, I mean, really, he's really committed to really growing Legwork, and I love it. I appreciate you, Korey.